In this demo, we will show you how to use the link and button widgets. Let's start by creating a new screen named Calculator and define the access rule to everyone. Now, let's add an input parameter to the screen and set it as non-mandatory. This input will have the result of the calculation we will make. Let's now add a button to increment the value of the number variable. Selecting the button allows you to specify the action performed when clicking the button. And this can be done by setting the onClick event property. In this case, we want to navigate to the same screen and increase the number input parameter. Let's display the value of the number input parameter, so we can properly test this scenario and see the result on the screen. Dragging a variable or input parameter into the screen creates an expression to display its value. Let's publish the app and test it in the browser. By clicking the button a couple of times, we can see the number with the result changing on the screen. This is navigating to the same screen, but with the input being incremented by 1, as expected. Returning to vODC Studio. Let's delete the expression that displays the number value and add another button. This button will now navigate to another screen, passing the current value of the number as input parameter. This is actually an accelerator that allows you to create new screens. Let's call this screen result, since this is where we will display the result value. In this screen, let's add an input parameter called value, with the data type set to integer. Dragging the input parameter onto the screen canvas will create an expression to display its value. We have an error in our app. Since we added the value input parameter, we have to set what value gets passed when the submit button is clicked. Selecting the button allows specifying the value. In the button properties, we have to specify the value passed when we navigate from this screen to the result screen. In the browser, let's now click the increment button a few times. Now, let's click the submit button, where the app will pass the current value of the number parameter onto the second screen, where it is displayed. So far we have worked with buttons. Let's now try links. Links work very similar to buttons, so let's add a restart link to the results screen. Like buttons and other widgets, links can be dragged from the toolbox. Selecting the link that surrounds the text reveals its properties. As we can see here, the link properties are very similar to the properties of a button. Similarly, let's set the onClick property to the calculator screen. Since the number input parameter of the calculator screen is not mandatory, we don't need to define a value for it. In that case, its default value is 0. Let's click the button to increment the number twice. And now submit the value. Let's now click the restart link. And immediately submit. As we can see, the value is now 0, since we did not click on the increment button.